Speaking of growth, when I first started to really pay attention to you guys was when you guys released the song Bougie Natives.
Yeah.
And that song catapulted the name SNRK to a new dimension in my mind. And it really shined a bright light on what it means to come from Indigenous heritage. Studies show that deep, detailed memories of meaningful creation stay with us for the rest of our lives. I'm wondering if it would be possible to take us on the journey of the moment by moment creation of that song.
Yeah. It all started with a beat, right? And I wouldn't say that. Bougie Natives was always in our head from the moment we started writing Trapline, and maybe even before. We had an album that we were working on. It was kind of like a mixtape called Rez Bangers and Cooler Pops, and the title Bougie Natives came into our heads, and we're just like, okay, this has possibly something that we could work with in the future. And then we were writing Trapline, and then I heard the beat from, was it Kato D that made that beat? It was
Taylor
Kato
King, I believe.
Was it Taylor King? Yeah. Okay, Taylor King. And I was just listening to Bougie Natives, and I was just sitting there in my place in northern BC, and I was there for the summer, and I was just sitting there by myself. Literally, like I'd spend like probably like 13 hours a day at my desk, just going through beats, trying to write, trying to get this album done. And this beat came on, and I was like, immediately, I had the hook written in like 10 minutes. It was like, we them Bougie Natives, got that turquoise on my rib. And at first, it was just me messing around, like just having fun. And I was like, you know what, we might have something here. But instead of like talking about Bougie Natives, like being like bougie, like, you know, like we fly first class, we have like $1 million mansions, we just live a luxurious lifestyle. It's not that. It's talking about finding wealth in community, finding wealth in traditional ways of living, healthy ways of living, finding wealth in family and community. And we just kind of flipped it on its head, and it kind of just took off for us. But yeah, I guess the process was the hook came, the beat came, the hook came, and then I sent it to D, and he said, "This is fire." We wrote our verses, and the rest was history.
Why do you think that resonated beyond the Indigenous communities?
I think mainly because people are interested in positivity coming out of reservations. Because for how many years before, there's been so many negative stereotypes like directed towards our people that come from people that have no idea about who we are or what we're really about. And I think at the time that Bougie Natives came out, there was a bit of a shift happening in native activism. So, I don't know, more movement happened, and people started paying more attention to not native issues, but native activity. And just seeing the movements that these people are starting, our people are starting. And, as Snotty Nose Rez Kids, we felt it was important for the movement to have a voice like ours. So we jumped in on that, and we were doing a lot of frontline work. We were doing a lot of fundraising. All the shows that we did in the very beginning all went right to the front lines. We do clothing drives on the weekends, and I think it was just a refreshing, like a breath of fresh air for people looking in to the movements to see people like us, and using our platform for good, you know what I mean? And that goes to Bougie Natives as well. When you hear Bougie Natives, you can't help but smile.
Yung D, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, we just wanted to make music for the people that inspired us, you know what I mean? With all like the land defenders, So like when we first moved, or at least I first moved to the city, Trybez was already living there for a year and a half maybe before I got there. And when I got there, to me, it was like being introduced to a brand new world. You know what I mean? Like we're surrounded by a bunch of academics. You know what I mean? We're surrounded by a lot of land defenders, and like more often than not, like when a conversation will be happening, I'll just be sitting there quiet and just listening and just like absorbing and soaking up this information of a brand new world that I never knew of because I'm just coming from a small town. You know what I mean? So Yeah, they definitely inspired us, and we just wanted to make music for them and make them proud. You know what I mean? By being ourselves.